Okay. Had to grab a pen. Go ahead, have a seat, sweetheart. You're okay. I know you look very stressed. And you have a right to be. You're going into a new grade next year. Everything's going to change. And I'm just going to have to be honest with you because that's the facts of life. But anytime that you feel uncomfortable or nervous during the school year, you can come to me, okay? We have a lot to go through today. We have to do your intake. We have some things to talk about, your year in review, everything like that. So, okay. Are you comfortable? Good. So, let's start off with your year in review. So I'm just going to turn this on. Figures we have to have our school next to a rural area. Okay, so why don't you tell me, and I'm going to get out the school journal here, how you thought your year in school was. Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you give me your full name again, sweetheart? I apologize. I've had about 6 other people today. Okay. Go ahead. Can you spell that? That's how I thought it was spelled. Okay. And you just finished grade. Mm-hmm. Good. So, again, you're looking a little bit stressed. So, can you tell me what's bothering you? What bothered you during this year? Really? Okay. So, just go ahead and talk to me. I'm just going to write down everything you say, all right? And then we're going to go over, for the next year, what we can do to help you with that. And then I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about some subjects I think that would be beneficial to your mental health as well as your physical health as well, okay? All right. So, go ahead and tell me. Just take a minute or two, just start talking. Okay. I'm listening. Oh, you're fine. Mm-hmm. Oh, sweetie, I don't want you to think that I'm just doing this because it's my job. I genuinely care about you and I genuinely want to help you. School is so stressful, sweetheart. I'm here all day, trust me. And I dealt with it when I was younger, too. I promise you, anything you think you have been through, I've seen it. And that doesn't devaluate your feelings or validate your feelings. What I'm trying to say is it makes your feelings super important because if these problems are still happening 12 years after I got out of high school, that means that something has to change. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's about the basis, the subjects? Okay, all right, so very quickly, I am going to... Well, first I have to ask your permission. Do you mind that I talk about these subjects to other students in the school. No, they won't show that they were your issues. It's just a general, kind of like a survey in a way. I bring them up to other students who come in here with similar problems, and then we find ways to figure them out. Okay, for now we'll just keep it anonymous between you and I, okay? Okay, so now that we've got your problems that you thought you felt through the school year, we can go through and talk about them. Let me just put this away. Whew, it's hot in here. Are you hot? Warm? No? Well, do you mind if I take off this jacket? No? See? Excuse me. Whew. We're not really allowed to show tattoos in the school, but they're slowly being accepted. When I was younger, I made very, very bad mistakes on my arms. I went out when I was 14 and got tattoos of drugs and alcohol. Absolutely very, very sad. But guess what? They're a part of me, and every time I look in the mirror, it's a reminder of what I went through and what I put myself through. And you learn to build from that and learn to build from your issues. So let's talk about the first thing. I have an idea. This is the yearly planner, and yours is marked. I had you come in here for an appointment. Okay. So we are going to get you ready, and the school year, I believe, starts in September or October, correct? Or forgive me, August or September. Like August 23rd, maybe? I don't know. That's one thing I haven't gotten out yet, but actually, what I'm going to do is do your intake while we talk about these problems. So, excuse me, what do you think the biggest fear would be for next year? Okay. What's your second biggest fear? Go ahead, you can tell me. I promise. Okay. So, are you scared of making friends? Are you scared of anxiety, depression, mental health? How about we start with that? Well, first things first. Mental health is something that definitely needs to be talked about more often, and I feel that the more students that I see keep in their problems and don't talk about it, the more it leads to bigger issues. And one of those issues that is an outlet to get rid of their anger is to bully other students, which causes more mental health problems. It causes feelings of isolation, of, feeling alone, which is isolation. It makes the person feel different, like they can't relate to other students. And I wanted to ask you, have you ever bullied anybody? Okay. I completely understand. I feel like we as humans, we feel sometimes backed into a corner. We feel like we can't relate to anybody else because of our past traumas. And just because you're a little bit younger doesn't make your feelings, again, any less validated or any less important. I wish that we could just be a little bit more connected from children and adults and, teenagers and at all ages, and to understand that we all have these problems. So, bullying. You said you've never done it, so I'm just going to write no. But again, I do feel like we've all been very, maybe mean at one point or another in our lives, so. Okay, so my advice to you today would be, I know in like early elementary school they have the bullying bench, or forgive me, the friendship benches. I'm feeling a little dyslexic today. So, a friendship bench is basically when you're out at recess, or you know how you get time in maybe study hall and things like that, and a child is feeling alone and they go and sit on the bench, and guess what? A person sees them sitting on that specific bench and goes over and talks to them and gives them a chance to play with them. So we may be utilizing those friendship benches in middle school and high school, and even in certain colleges around the country. So what I'm asking every student to do, including you, is, let me see here. It's just gotta load. Is I would really appreciate it for somebody who I know has had some problems in the past. I know I haven't been the school counselor here for a long time, so it would be really cool if you could just give an opening, listening ear for the people who are going through worse, because guess what? There will always be somebody who's going through worse or better. And that's why we must accept the reality we're in and change the things we don't like about ourselves, because we can't keep wanting to be like this person or wishing that we weren't like this person. It's good to just feel good within ourselves. You know what I mean? With that being said, let's talk about the next subject. I've got half of your intake done. It's just a matter of questions. So we've gotten down friendship benches. There's something on the screen. Okay. You know what? I don't need that. Let's get these closer. Failing. So that's actually what I need to look up next. We're actually going to save that topic because I need to look up your past report cards. Do you have any troubles by chance with your studies, whether or not you have good or bad grades? Okay. Do you know why? Is that... Well, yeah, the question basically I'm asking is, do you feel that your teachers rush you a lot? Really? That you don't get enough time to study? It's kind of just right there in your face in different periods. You go to period 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You barely get any time for lunch, correct? It stinks. It really does. And we're trying to change that, and I want you to know that. Teachers, you know, they're coming to their job too, and not 100% of themselves are dedicated to their work. So trust me when I say that I understand that you may be going through some difficulty learning, some anxiety, which causes to be on edge all the time, which causes you then to get a little bit of depression, not wanting to study. My best advice is to, honestly, why not talk to a teacher about it and say, I truly believe that's what we're trying to utilize here as well, is to have a better relationship between teachers and the students in regards to maybe not worrying so much with both parties. When you go in the classroom, you're immediately told to pay attention to the whiteboard or chalkboard or book or anything. A tablet even, you know, we've utilized those in schools. And it just seems like both parties are trying to get done as soon as possible. So you got the student trying to scribble. Then you've got the teacher trying to write. Check. It stinks. And it would be really cool if you're feeling really down or overwhelmed by the class, and I would like it for this year if you would talk to the teacher. Now, if the teacher gives you any lip, depending, we have our different people here, please come to me, the school counselor, or go to the principal. Or, as odd as this sounds, maybe, I don't know, try to put yourself in the teacher's shoes as well. It's always nice to put yourself in other people's shoes, just like the friendship bench that we talked about. To try to understand where they're coming from and understand that they're facing problems just as bad, or, you know, maybe a little less than yours, maybe a little worse, but it's still a problem, and they're still suffering to go through it. So just having a little bit of understanding for this year is a really, really good idea, and making sure you're very open, very talkative. Patience. Trust me, I know with school, patience is a very, very rare thing, but it's also a virtue. Okay, so we're pretty much done with your intake. The intake was basically a survey. Actually, let's go to the last page here. We're going to go over your grades. So, the last thing, I just want to check a few things off. Just go over. Can you verify your address for me? Okay. Are you on any medications? I do have to know that information. It stays 100% confidential, and it's nothing to be ashamed about, okay? I do not want you feeling down for being on any antidepressants, anxiety meds. Okay? And how many milligrams do you think you take a day? If you're not 100% sure, the nurse usually gets a copy of that from, your parents or caretaker. Okay. Are you on birth control at all? Or, forgive me, you never know, but are you using methods of protection? I know we have to ask, though. Okay. And then last but not least, you said you're going into grade... Okay, sorry. Do you have a significant other in your life lately that you're pretty infatuated with? Trust me, I'm too old, sweetheart. Don't mind me. Please, I use words from way back before your time. Really? Well, I know that some are having trouble coming out this year with their sexuality. And that's another thing we're trying to make happen. Well, let me be honest. I want to make this happen. I can't put a Band-Aid on an open wound that needs closed by more than one person, if that makes sense. It's not going to just be me to be able to fix the problem that's going on around here. Being comfortable with your sexuality, talking about sex at your age, just being aware of the risks. Life can seem very carefree when you're very young like yourself, and I just want to make sure that you are aware that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to have things that you like and dislike, but it's also a good thing to always feel safe, to always feel protected, and to use protection. To never feel like you're walking around a war zone. So for someone who's gay, walking around the school with those, mostly a majority of the people who are straight, and making them feel uncomfortable. Love is love, and that's how I feel. I know the school doesn't want to worry about those things. Basically, school is a place for learning, and it's not like my problems or your problems are worried about, and that's why I'm trying so hard to talk to the students, to let them know to be an open ear, open arms to people who really, really need it, especially those who are going through bouts of anger, sadness, things like that. So, Would you like a stick of gum? A stickle? A stickle, 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 stickle. Sorry. I get really down when I talk about these subjects because I just want experiment. Well, do you have a friend who would like it? Here. Set it right here. But anyway. I just get really down because I feel like we as people, you, yourself, we're so able to make a change despite all the different problems that we're all going through. And oh, did you ever put a stick of gum in your mouth and your jaw hurts? But yeah, honey, I just want you to know that when you go in this year, that you can talk to me, that you don't have to feel depressed. There will always be someone to listen, and I'm going to make sure that I let as many students as possible know to please be understanding to others. Talk. Talk, 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 talk. Talk as much as you can. I know in the classroom we're told not to talk, but in the halls, all right. Last but not least, let's just go over your grades. To be honest, I don't know why I took a sip of coffee with gum. Spearmint, to be exact. It's been a long day. Are you having any troubles at home? Really? I'm just trying to find your name. But go ahead and talk. Everybody seems to have it this year. Like I said, tensions are on the rise. People are not happy. Do you listen to music often? Music always helps. Headphones always help as well. And we're actually selling them in the gym, believe it or not. We're not supposed to have our electronics, but I'm trying to change that too. Not our phones per se, but they still make iPods, believe it or not. Okay, so let's go over your grades this year. I found you right here. Well, your name's right here. Here we go. Alright. So you scored overall over the year a 30 out of 40. So that means you either had 10 tardies. I don't have all the information here. The school counselor can only do so much. But you've either had 10 tardies, a mixture of an F on a test, a missing day of school, a detention. But you did pretty well this year. Were you stressed that you were going to fail? Again, stress. We're going too fast with everything. Do you take a lot of notes? Well, I definitely suggest for this year that get yourself a binder like this one. Back in school, and can you believe it? I'm a high school dropout. Oh yeah, I'm the first person they send to the students who do not want to be in school anymore. I want to tell them how much that I wish I could go back and would have completed school and dealt with all the things that I dealt with, and bullying was actually one of the biggest things. That's actually one of the main reasons I dropped out. And it's caused me a lot of problems getting a job. It's caused me a lot of problems finding myself at such a young age, because you're so conditioned to be going to school every year. You get a small amount of time for summer break, and then all of a sudden you quit school during a period of a bad time, and you think, now what? I had to fill my time somehow. So I turned to drugs and ruined my life. And it was only until I got this job that I could help others. I was given a chance. I don't have any college education. I never got to go to university and experience all the fun issues, believe it or not. Some of those problems at the end, you find out, wow, that was dumb, but it was worth it. So, sweetheart, you did pretty well this year regarding your grades. I got your intake, your address, your medications, everything. I've listened to some of your problems. And to sum it up, my best advice to you, honestly, would be please, 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 know that no matter what, you are going to go through stuff, okay? Know that things aren't going to be perfect. Know that you have to talk. Don't keep it in. It hurts to keep in. It hurts. It really does. It's like a bubble that forms in your chest, and every day it just gets worse, and then there's another problem you don't feel like talking about that was stemmed from the other problem that you won't talk about, and things like that. So please talk this year. If you don't have anybody to talk to, please come here. You will always have someone to talk to here, okay? There's that. Please, if you see somebody sitting alone and seems distressed, ask them to come sit with you. And just know that it's not worth giving up. There's nothing worth to give up permanently. If you're ever having troubles with that, with your sexuality, with anything like that, talk. Feel comfortable, feel open, tell your story. Own your mistakes. I mean, you're very young, and if you've had some mistakes, which I'm sure you may have, just own them. You don't have to talk about everything you don't want to, but things that you feel that you want to talk about, but you're too afraid to. Take that leap of faith, okay? Just know that you, that guy over there, that girl pulling in parallel parking very awkwardly and probably going to cause an accident, everyone is important, okay? So please, next time you're feeling low, scared, anything, please come here. If I'm busy with another student, wait, and I will talk to that student, etc., etc. So, but anyway, I'm genuinely grateful that, you came in with me today to finish your intake and talk to me. You even took the time to talk. It's very hot in here. I'm sticking to things. And I'm going to get going, so I'm actually just going to put this pencil back here. But for the next school year, talk it out. Know you're not alone. And know that it will all be worth it in the end. Those sayings are true, It's always darkest before the dawn. Storm clouds eventually run out of rain. What else? They reign true. Those words. So, you feeling better? Okay. I will see you next time. I'm gonna put this over here. And I hope you have a good day, sweetheart, okay? You're gonna do great this school year. You're doing amazing, sweetie. I'll talk to you soon.